Perfect. Right, I'm just going to start sharing my screen. So can you see how to be an inclusive and diverse society on my screen? Fab. So first of all, thank you for giving up your evening to be here and learning about how to be part of an inclusive and diverse society. This is the first time we've ever run this workshop. So if you have any feedback at the end on how we can improve it, very, very welcome. But we just want to give you the support and the tools you need to make Marrow a safe, inclusive, comfortable place for everyone who wants to be part of it, and also give you the tools that you need to feel comfortable and confident doing that, as well as hopefully this also helping us diversify the register itself. So we're just going to start with a short video that I have tested, so you should be able to hear, just explaining the value of diversity and inclusion in the workplace / the Marrow committee sphere.
Imagine a talented painter who gets hired to paint a portrait, but when it's time to do the painting, the person hiring the artist won't let her use her hands to paint, preventing her from using her full skill. Sounds ridiculous, right? But failing to unlock the true potential of a diverse workforce through a commitment to inclusion is just as foolish. Because when you don't make sure everyone is able to contribute to the best of their ability, you place a barrier in the way of excellence. Diversity in the workplace refers to the unique characteristics that individuals within the workforce possess. Inclusion is about creating an environment in which all individuals are treated fairly and with respect, and are given equal access to resources and development. Diverse and inclusive workplaces empower all people to contribute fully, allowing the organization to reap the unique benefits of the talent and experience of all their employees. So, let's look at how embracing diversity and inclusion can help you and your organization.
Great, so that was just a very quick video to hopefully try and explain a bit more visually how making sure that you have a diverse range of people on committee or volunteers and making sure that everyone feels welcome is going to only be brilliant and only going to be an asset for your Marrow groups. So just wanted to introduce you to the Marrow Diversity Champions. So you may or may not know that for the last 6 or so months, we have had Marrow Diversity Champions who meet fortnightly, who have been working on making inclusion diversity a priority within Marrow, have been working on education resources and a whole bunch of things to try and get Marrow just to be the best possible society it can be. So on the in the group, I suppose, is Krishna, Ellen, Samaya, and Simran. So they are a fab group. We've got Krishna here, and they've done amazing work so far, which I'll go into a little bit of detail later. And there is also a chance for you to join the Diversity Champions if you wish. But just to let you know that they are fabulous and have been working really, really hard over the last few months to just create as many resources as Marrowers could possibly need, and just to try and make sure that everyone feels kind of supported. So if there's ever anything resource-wise that you need or want, you can just get in contact with them or me, and we can make sure that that is kind of a priority for us. So I'm just going to hand over to Krishna for a couple of minutes just to explain a little bit about you and your role.
Okay, so hi, I'm Krishna. I'm part of Warwick Marrow. Well, I've been a Marrow volunteer for 3 years, and I'm currently the fundraising officer for Warwick Marrow, which is my 3rd year on committee. I'd been wanting to join Marrow for a while, but I was too scared to, and then I spoke to some people who were on the committee, and then they convinced me to join, and then since then I've basically been to every single event that we run. And I joined the Marrow Diversity Champions when it first started, and I wanted to join because although Anthony and Nolan are doing a really good job of trying to be more inclusive and diverse, there is always more that can be done. And it's so important that Marrow is inclusive because we want to be a society where everyone feels welcome regardless of disability, language or religion, and we want to feel like a family. We want the society to feel like a family, a home away from home, and we don't want anyone to feel excluded. It's really great. It doesn't take up too much time. It's once as Holly said, bi-weekly. And if you can't come, that's okay. But if you can come, that's great. And it's quite flexible and works around what you can do and when you're free, basically. Yeah. I really enjoy it. You make some really great people.
Thank you for that. So just a little bit about what they've been working on to date. So they're working on a massive document which has a whole bunch of education resources around how to talk about gender, sexuality, faith, ethnicity, and ability and disability. Just so that if your Mara group ever needs any help in terms of understanding who can sign up to the register, any language around volunteers who may be trans, for example, or how to make an event wheelchair accessible, that kind of thing, just so that you have all the tools, all the resources there that you could possibly need, is the plan, and it's coming together beautifully. So this is essentially the first page of it. So we just wanted to give you a little like sneak preview. So the diversity champions just wanted to make it really clear that it's really important that we are kind of making a real effort to have a proper change and improve our approach to diversity and inclusion. It's not a kind of jumping on the bandwagon thing. It's something that we want to really invest our time and effort in now so that we can get it right in the future. So that is what they're doing, and they're doing a fantastic job. They're making sure to research everything thoroughly. And one of the key things that we know Maros want more help with is things like religious and cultural festivals, so doing collabs with societies that might be so one that springs to mind, for example, is Islamic Society do a Believe and Do Good month, and a lot of the time collaborate with Mara groups, because part of the Believe and Do Good month is to do kind of charitable initiatives. So understanding the context around that and the language around that, for example, also kind of just making you guys aware of more opportunities that you could take part in, and ways to really be there for your fellow committee members, fellow volunteers who might be part of those religions, for example, and how to kind of celebrate and just kind of help them feel included as well. So an example of what's in the resource is there's a whole bunch of education resources, some of them more like fun, for example, just a lot of fictional things as well as historical texts and stuff like that. So there's a lot of learning potentially that can be done if you so wish. Just a lot of really good recommendations. And this again is another example of what's in the document. So a lot of it is things around social media, so how to speak about various topics on social media, how to make sure that everyone does feel included, how to make sure that your posts are accessible, for example. So there's lots of really good work that's gone into that. Another thing,
yeah, that's so important.
Gosh, didn't realise that was going to play. Another amazing thing that the diversity group have been working on was they, in March, I think it was, did a Q&A with Oren from the African Caribbean Leukemia Trust, which is one of Anthony Nolan's partner organisations. And they spoke to him and interviewed him about how to encourage more people from Black communities to join the register, and he had some incredible advice. So I'd really encourage you to go and check that out. It's on the Mara Team YouTube channel, but it was a really great example of how if we talk to people and share experiences and share advice, you can learn loads, and it can be massively beneficial when you're trying to recruit people to the register as well. I would definitely recommend checking it out. I've been involved in Mara and Anthony Nolan for 7 years now, and there was stuff that I absolutely took on board and will be using at events going forwards. I also bought a book off his recommendation, which is very thick, and I'm working my way through it. So if you would like to get involved, and, you know, on a kind of national level, make Marrow more inclusive and diverse, then feel free to. We'd be more than happy to have you on board. You can email marrow@antinolan.org with just a couple of sentences of why you'd like to get involved. What would also be really helpful if you're up for doing it is filling out our survey. It's something that the Marrow Diversity Champions are really keen to get your insight with. So if there's anything that you are worried about, have concerns about, need help with, it's a survey that I think Krishna can share in the chat if you haven't already, just so that we can make those resources for you or have those chats with you if there is anything that you would like to kind of find out about. And then in terms of educating yourself on inclusion and diversity, that's what this massive document is going to be used for. So we'll send that out fairly soon. The Marrow Diversity Champions have just are coming back from their summer holiday very soon. So we can send that out quite soon. And then we're just going to suggest a few bits and bobs over the next few slides with things that you can do on kind of a local level with your Marrow group that you can kind of put into practice today and going forwards. So just a few suggestions that we had. So things like making sure that your socials don't necessarily revolve around alcohol constantly, which is something that I think people are getting more and more aware of, but equally things like making sure that you don't just have pepperoni pizza, for example, at training events. Some people might be vegan. Some people, if they are Jewish, might not be able to eat dairy and meat in the same meal. So just being aware of dietary things at events, making sure that people feel welcome there. If they know it's at a bar or a pub, they may feel a little bit cautious about attending. So other things that you can do to make Marrow more inclusive is being aware of certain religious and cultural festivals and celebrating them on social media, telling your followers to have a very happy Hanukkah, for example, without any other message in there. So not necessarily asking them to join the register while they're having a happy Hanukkah, just letting them know that you see them, you recognize them, and you'd love, you know, to wish them a lovely time. Other things that you could do is on your Facebook and Instagram posts and other social media posts, just putting a image description down so that if someone, for example, is blind or can't or has trouble seeing, then they might have a screen reader that can give them more information about what the actual image is. Making sure that if you're creating videos, you have subtitles for anyone that is deaf or hard of hearing. Running a whole bunch of collaborations, which I'm sure you're really great at anyway, but making sure that you're kind of running those collaborative events, reaching out to new societies, reaching out to new people that could potentially become volunteers would be incredible. Doing quizzes and surveys, potentially around inclusion diversity to see what your current volunteers want and need. Making sure that your events are accessible. So if you're holding a donor recruitment event in your SU and it's up some stairs, is there a lift there? Or making sure that it's maybe outside or on the ground floor. Just most university buildings probably will be fairly physically accessible because obviously they do their best, hopefully, to cater for everyone, but just making sure that you're aware of that when you're booking rooms, for example, for training sessions or for donor recruitment or whatever it might be. So there are just a few tips. A lot more will be in the big resource that we'll be sending out very soon. But those are just kind of a few to get started with. And we just wanted to share some successes so far. So Warwick Marrow have a diversity and inclusion officer, which is a really, really good idea. If someone is able to dedicate their time to that role on committee, then that's fantastic. Obviously, not all committees are going to have the capacity to do that, but maybe this could become part of someone's role or someone could share it, or it might be something to think about potentially for next year. So Amira really kindly sent us some bullet points on what her role entails. So this image on the right was created by Katie from Warwick Marrow. who is a fantastic artist, as you can see. And so she created this, and Amira kind of made sure that it was posted on social media, made sure that social is a really good way of getting those education resources out there, making sure that different voices are heard, different people are seen on their social media. So that's another really great thing, if you're able to, making sure that in a lot of situations it's not just all women on your social media or all people from kind of white Caucasian backgrounds on your social media. If you can get some diversity in the images you're using, that would be incredible. But yeah, so Amira did a lot of work on making sure that tackling inequalities was a priority in Warwick socials, as well as she's done a whole bunch of patient appeal work with a lot of religious and cultural societies. So if you're wanting to reach out to some of those societies and you're not sure where to start, the patient appeals are a really great resource. They're obviously very human, they're obviously very, tangible. There's a real person there with a real need for a transplant, and that perfect match. So they're a really good way of reaching out and just kind of showing the urgency of the situation. Amira has also done some incredible outreach, so arranged talks with Elliot, who is a stem cell donor and a member of the LGBTQ+ community, and Annie, who used to be in York Marrow, who's a patient from a minority ethnic background. So that's been fantastic, and that Warwick Marrow really got to hear true, real kind of stories from these people with those lived experiences, and their audiences got to see those people and how, for example, with Annie from being from a minority ethnic background, how much harder it was for her to find that donor. Amira also really kind of utilised Black History Month. We have some resources for Black History Month on their way, so they should be coming to you soon, which is very exciting. But your uni is probably going to be doing a whole bunch of things for Black History Month, so if you can join them, if you can find out what they're doing, and go along to those events or run your own event alongside it, that would be absolutely amazing. Amira also worked with Zara, the MP for Coventry, to create a video to encourage people to sign up to the register, which is really amazing. Got incredible engagement, and reaching out to MPs is something that we can absolutely help you with. So Nusha from the Policy and Public Affairs team helped with that. And you can just reach out to us if you need a hand with any of those kind of outreach opportunities. And this year, Amira is going to be contacting religious leaders across Coventry to just spread awareness and encourage people to sign up to the register. Often we, hear of people saying that someone from Anthony Nolan, for example, or maybe a Marrower that they don't know, isn't necessarily going to convince them to join the register. It needs to, for some people, come from someone trusted within their community. So if we can reach out to those community leaders, or even something as simple as the president of a society, then if it comes from them as a trusted individual, that person might be much more willing to hear us out and potentially to sign up as well. So it's definitely something to keep in mind. So where it comes to Zara Sultana, who's the local MP for Coventry, Amira put a lot of work and effort into this, and it massively paid off. So as I said, Nusha helped her with this, so sent a briefing out to Zara's team, and after quite a lot of chasing up, Zara posted the video out onto her social media, which is followed by, I can't remember off the top of my head, but literally thousands of people. So it had a really, really big impact, which was fantastic. So I think the next slide is going to be Zara starting talking. Yeah.
Every year, 2,000 people with blood cancer or other blood disorders will need a stem cell transplant. And the Anthony Nolan charity saves 3 lives a day through its register of potential donors. Most people who donate will do so through a simple outpatient procedure. It's like giving blood. But nationally, only 2% of us are on the stem cell register. Research shows that the younger the donor, the better a patient's chance is of survival. That's why I'm a donor alongside 1,579 potential lifesavers in Coventry who have also signed up. Young men are most likely to be chosen to donate, but right now they only make up 17% of the register. And in the UK, if a white person needs a stem cell transplant, they have 71% chance of finding a match. But for Black and ethnic minority communities, this falls to a shocking 37%. It's unacceptably low, and one way to tackle this health inequality is by more of us signing up to join the register. That's why Warwick Marrow are looking for willing volunteers aged 16 to 30, particularly from Black and ethnic minority communities, to support Anthony Nolan's Tackling Inequalities campaign. The only conditions to join the stem cell register are that you're aged 16 to 30 and that you're in good health. So please take out 5 minutes from your day and sign up at www.anthonynolan.org/WarwickMarrow.
Amazing. And I think that's just such a great example of, first of all, a really, really incredible script that was put together, really straight to the point, and amazing what can be achieved. I know from a brief stint in policy and public affairs team how hard it is to get in contact with MPs sometimes. So the fact that Amira was able to do that is absolutely fantastic. And please don't let what I just said put you off. It's definitely worth trying. And like I said, Zara got through to literally thousands of people. So it's definitely worth a shot and worth kind of reaching out. And like I said, something we can support you with. So if you need a briefing for your MP, that's absolutely something we can do. If you don't know who your MP is, we can help you with that too. But yeah, definitely something to consider. Oh, backwards. There we go. So what we wanted to do next is just have a few ideas, have a little chat. So Krishna's going to pop a Miro board in the chat. If you wouldn't mind just adding to those post-it notes, just adding kind of some thoughts on what needs improving within Marrow in terms of inclusion diversity, what areas we need to focus on, what might you need to feel more educated about inclusion diversity. Do you yourself feel safe and comfortable within Marrow? If not, what can we do to, you know, improve that? Hopefully you either came to this workshop or are watching it on catch up for a reason. Hopefully, you know, that's because you would like to make a real tangible difference to how inclusive and diverse Marrow is. So even if it's just telling us why you're here today, it would be really, really useful to know that. So I'm just going to give you a few minutes to write a few bits and bobs down. You'd be happy to do that. Also, does everyone know how to use Miro? Perfect. If you can't click on anything or don't know how to type or something's not working, just let me know. That's just me pouring more coffee. If I thought ahead, I would have background music playing, but I actually don't know how to make that work. Also, I realise I'm putting you on the spot quite a lot. So this is something that you can come back to if you ever want to, anonymously or not, add anything. If you want the inclusion and diversity champions to work on this, if you want the Marrow team to work on this, then you absolutely can do that. You can also just chat if you'd rather. I just didn't want to put you on the spot.
Hi.
No.
I just didn't want to talk if I wasn't allowed to.
No, you absolutely are. I just didn't want to like make you talk if you didn't want to.
That's fine. Yeah, some of the things that we've done in the past, before COVID, was done quite a lot of collaborations with. So we've done like Langar on campus and done stuff with the ISOC and Muslim SOC and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And also tried to set up a table with an event with African Caribbean Society, but then never went ahead. Yeah. One thing that I was interested in doing was going into the community and going to some of the temples in Cardiff,
Mm.
but I never really knew how to go into that. I don't really know whether to just walk into the place and ask someone. It was a bit, I don't know.
Yeah, no,
I don't know what the first step is.
Yeah, it's a bit daunting, isn't it? I mean, some of them probably do have an email address, potentially if you look online, though I'm sure none of them will turn you away if you just walk in and ask to chat to someone. One of the things that a few Mara groups have faced in that kind of situation is that they sometimes want resources written in different languages. So if you ever need something like that, just contact the Mara team. We can figure that out. We're currently working on getting a whole bunch of resources translated for those exact purposes, but it's a very big, long process because we've got a lot of stuff written down. But a few flyers we can definitely kind of help with. But yeah, I think that's a really brilliant idea. And yeah, I think email or just head in. Though if you do have connections with if you've been to your Langarn campus regularly, maybe someone in the SEEK-SOC does maybe know someone that potentially is associated with one of the Gurdwaras, or maybe you've already got contacts potentially who could put you in contact with someone at those places.
Because I've had some talks with the diversity officer at the SU as well. She made a few posts for our society, so
that's cool.
Let's see if she knows anyone.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea, because hopefully she will have a whole bunch of contacts that will be really great to explore potentially, or at least have some fantastic ideas, or things that maybe the SU themselves are doing that she's kind of put into place that you could maybe be there on, if there's an event going on or something. But yeah, I think that sounds like a really great idea.
Thanks.
Was there anything else either of you wanted to chat about?
I think so, no.
Yeah. Krishna, have you had any really successful just going into a religious or a community centre or anything that has worked?
We haven't done any yet, but we're attempting to try and do some this year. But what we've done before is that we've had a BAME week, so we go to loads of different religious and cultural societies throughout the week and do donor recruitment events there. So we do a presentation and then we do the donor recruitment during one of their events, which tends to work pretty well.
Yeah, I like that, because especially if some of the groups know that other people have got on board, they might trust it a little bit more and be more willing to also get involved. That sounds like a really good plan. I like it. Right, shall we get back to the presentation? So what was next? So thank you for sharing that. That was really interesting. Let me just change this. So yeah, we're basically nearly done. So just to let you know a few next steps, that the diversity champions are going to be back up and running in the next couple of weeks. So any suggestions that you have for them, any resources you want made, any ideas, any concerns, then we are, raring to go to make resources to support you in any way we can. It would also be absolutely amazing if you could, either keep adding to that Miro board if you'd like to, or potentially fill out that form that Krishna sent through. All ideas are really welcome. If you also would like to join the Diversity Champions, again, more than welcome to, but no pressure. As well as if you are interested in getting someone who's focused on diversity and inclusion on your committee, or aren't really sure where to start with that, then that's also something we can help with. But yeah, essentially the next steps is that the diversity working group, the Diversity Champions, are going to be back in action over the next couple of weeks. So anything they can help you with, they're there and ready to go. I can also send some details around kind of early October, so look out for them, with what the kind of priorities for the next 6 months or so are for the Diversity Champions. So if you think anything's missing, again, just let us know. Any questions? Perfect. Then thank you. I'm going to stop sharing now and I will stop recording.